We are checking back in with Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo today to get an update on the latest Board of License Commissioners meeting and also talk about elections. And I say that in plural, Nikki, because there are a couple you're dealing with. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for spending some time. Let's start with the license board if we could. That's the easy stuff, right?
Yeah, right. Certainly. We did. Chief Jackson was absent yesterday, wasn't able to make the meeting. So we did have a 4-member board. And I'll get right to it. Agenda item number 1, hearing regarding the request of Old Colony YMCA for a charity wine pouring license for a fundraising event at the Marriott on November 4th. Carol McKean was there to speak about the event. This permit was needed because the wine for the dinner was donated. So they do need a special license for that. They planned on a cocktail hour, which would be by the Marriott themselves, but the wine for the tables for the dinner would be a donated event. So that went through 4-0. That will take place on November 4th from 6 to 9 p.m. Agenda item number 2 was hearing regarding the request of Break Rock Brewing for a change of hours to 8 a.m. through 1 a.m. 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. And that would require a brunch license for the premise located at 534 Victory Road. So there were 2 different things going on there, the change of hours and then the brunch license, and we needed 2 votes on that. The first one was the change of hours from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. That went through 4-0, and then 10 a.m. on Sundays for that also went through 4-0. Agenda item.
Place for brunch in Quincy. How about
that?
Yeah.
Yes. And he doesn't do the brunch, doesn't do the food there himself. He has pop-ups for the food, so they don't use a food truck; they use a pop-up. So vendors actually come in with their food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's out at Marina Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hearing agenda item number 3, hearing regarding the request of HP Properties LLC for a lodging house license for the premise located at 4951 Home Street due to a change of ownership of the existing lodging home. Chris Lydon was there and spoke about buying the property, cleaning up the property, and owns existing lodging homes now, and that went through 4-0. Agenda item number 4 was hearing regarding the request of Quincy Sky Inc. doing business as Omari Izakara and Sushi for an all-alcohol beverage restaurant license and a common victual license for the premise located at 11 Foster Street. Proposed hours of operation, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Proposed manager Yong Kwai Lai and attorney Ka Wong was there to speak about the new restaurant that will be going at 11 Foster Street. They are not planning on opening until late February, March. They have a sketch for 48 seats and 2,000 square feet of restaurant space. They met with the planning department and got a waiver for that site. So this 11 Foster Street is, part of the downtown revitalization area. There was one business owner there who spoke against a restaurant going in there. But with the revitalization going on, the board felt that it was a proper use for the location there at 11 Foster Street. And that also went through 4-0.
Is that right next to Miller Studio there, Nikki?
It is, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where parking might be an issue on that street. It's just a little street.
Yeah, they did come in with a parking plan as well. So they're going to renovate and make some parking spaces there
Okay.
for the restaurant itself.
What's there now? Do you know? Is it just a vacant storefront?
Yeah, it's vacant.
Yeah.
I think they said there might be a dance studio downstairs, but they couldn't confirm that.
Okay.
Agenda item number 5 was continued until further notice at the request of the applicant. There were some issues with fire prevention that needed to be taken care of before they come back before the board. So I'm assuming that will probably be at our next hearing. There was a late addition to the agenda. Number 6 was the Abigail Adams dedication for the new statue out in front of City Hall in the Hancock Adams Green. That will take place on November 5th at 11 a.m. There'll be a dedication. There'll be food and beverages, treats, hot cocoa, some desserts, some catering by Terry at 145 R Water Street. And Terry does have a state catering license. So it was just more informational that we get the word out about the great dedication that will be on November 5th at 11 a.m. For the Abigail Adams statue.
Yep, that's open to the public, so it should be a fun time. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It should be a great day. And our next hearing will be on November 1st.
Wow, back to back.
Yes.
Excellent. Assuming that that'll be a shorter one because the week after that is an election.
Oh, an election. Yes. Yes.
How's early voting going, Nikki?
Early voting is sort of slow, to be honest. The first day, we had 111 voters, and then since then it's been raining.
Right. True.
So so a little more than half each day of that 111. So we're hoping with the good weather tomorrow and the brisk weekend ahead, and we'll be at North Quincy High School from 8:30 to 2:30 this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that people will take advantage of the early voting there.
Okay, and then back at City Hall next week, right?
Then back at City Hall next week. And of course, this week we'll be here till 8:30 to 4:30. Anybody can come down and vote right here in person.
Okay, and then Saturday, I know you're open as well, right, for registration?
Yes, last day to register to vote is October 29th. City Hall will be open from 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Oh, no, 5 o'clock, excuse me.
Oh,
8:30 to 5.
On October 29th, okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you can still request your ballot online as well up until November 1st. So if you wish to do that, that's available as well. You can go to our election, city clerk, elections, and then we have some links there if you'd like to get it by mail.
Okay, how's the mail-in balloting going? Are they coming back in droves?
They are. They are. We've been busy, first getting them out, then keeping up with the requests that are coming in, but they're coming back fast and furious now. So we appreciate that. The more that we can get done processing the ballots back, the better off we are and prepared for election day.
Right. I think last time I talked to you, there were something like 12,000 requests for mail-in ballots. Was there more after that?
Yeah, they've been coming in pretty steady, between 50 and 100 a day, and we do the mail daily. So as soon as we get your request, we put it right back out in the mail to you.
Okay. And there's the Dropbox right outside too, right?
There is, and that's been wonderful. Yeah, people are really taking advantage of that. People get a little nervous about the post office sometimes, so they can take advantage of the Dropbox right out here at the main doors at City Hall. And speaking of the post office, on November 8th, as long as your ballot is stamped by 8 p.m., we will accept it up until November 12th. So as long as it's postmarked, if it's postmarked in Boston, it takes 3 days to get here, we'll still accept it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was eye-opening to me and probably a lot of people too.
Yeah, that's new. So
Okay.
we'll do our very best for sure. We're always in constant contact with the post office. And right up until, the last couple of minutes, we'll call over and see if there are any ballots there that we can come and get or that they drop off.
Okay. And Nikki, can you bring your mail-in ballot with you and turn it in on election day at the poll?
No, you have to bring it here to City Hall.
Okay.
And we check our ballot box all the time. You can bring it to early voting and drop it there. We do have a little drop box inside of City Hall that you can use. But rather than to bring it to the polls, please bring it to City Hall so that we can get it turned around and get it out.
Okay. I think that's important to note as
Mhm.
well. And then in-person voting, right? We can still come and vote in person, right?
We certainly can. All 31 polling places will be open at 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. on November 8th.
Okay. I think you predicted a 50% turnout. Are you sticking by it?
I am.
Yeah.
Even I was hoping for maybe 100 ballots a day for the 14 days that were open for early voting, but that hasn't been the case. So, it could be, and we've never done it for 14 days. So, there are so many different variables going around right now, but I'm sticking to the 50.
Well, they are the ballot questions, which I think will generate a lot of interest.
This certainly, and they're confusing. So my suggestion to everyone is to read that red book. We definitely have some red books here available if people have misplaced their red book and want us to mail them another one. We're happy to do that. Please just call the election office, 617-376-1142 or 43. We'll get one right out to you. They're also on the Secretary of State's website. You can find the questions there. But to know and go is the best bet.
Right. Yeah. Give yourself some time and write down your answer ahead of time.
Yep,
So
you can certainly have a little cheat sheet if you'd like.
Yeah, there's actually one in the red book in the back there if you want to
Mhm.
jot down how you plan to vote, and even for candidates as well.
Sure.
All righty. And oh, by the way, we have a special election because
Oh,
we're so
by the
special
way,
here in Quincy.
yes.
What's going to be happening with that?
Yes, congratulations to Councilor Palmucci, now Honorable Palmucci for his judgeship. We're very happy for him and his family. And that does create a vacancy in the city council in the ward. So we will, I will bring a calendar to the city council on November 14th. They'll vote it hopefully on that night, and we can get nomination papers available right away after that. You know, there will be a smaller window of opportunity to get your papers, to get your signatures. I'm anticipating probably November 15th for nomination papers to be available, and get them right back, probably a 2-week window, and there'll probably be an election early next year, preliminary perhaps, and then an election.
Okay, yeah, depending on how many candidates are
Right.
certified, right? Yeah.
Right, and I'll get working on that. You know, of course, we're concentrating on this election first and getting that done, and we have a little time before the council meets again to get that calendar done and have that special election for Ward 4.
All right, lots going on in the city clerk's office.
Always.
Thanks a lot, Nikki. Good to talk to you.
Okay.